Well, I hope you're ready. I hope you're sitting down and that you've prepared yourself to have your mind blown. Because what I'm about to show you, that's what it's going to do. And it's going to confirm everything. If you want the truth, you're going to have to stick around for a few minutes. It's going to take me a few minutes to show you all this monumental, groundbreaking, life-saving, latter-day understanding of this word. That's what you're about to get. This is the verse 10 through 12 of the 29th chapter of Acts. This can be found in my video, Low. Low. See it there at the top? Low. That's the last track I made in the last album, Expectant. The beginning of this, it just shows the Messiah on the donkey. So you gotta stick around for a couple minutes with all my content, because this is about understanding, gaining understanding, finding our deliverance. And trust me, if you haven't done the message, if you haven't acted according to what the message has been, if you haven't done that yet, guess what? You have no deliverance. And you're going to see that by the time this video is over with. You're going to understand what you have to do in order to gain your deliverance. And you're going to want to sit down. You're going to want to prepare yourself. I'm telling you right now. So verse 10, and this is Paul. At even, the Holy Ghost fell upon Paul, and he prophesied, saying, Behold, in the last days the Most High of peace shall dwell in the cities. He shall dwell in the cities. Now pay attention. Like I said, this is going to take a few minutes, but you're going to need to understand this if you've got a brain. I pray that you do. He shall dwell in the cities. And look, I understand, if you've never heard of the 29th chapter of Acts, I understand that there's a lot of people who ridicule it probably or whatever, or if someone says that this ain't legit because it's not in the canon. I'm not arguing with you, but let's read it and let's see if it lines up with what we see going on here today, and then we'll know. We ain't got to worry about it being debunked or someone saying it's been debunked. We ain't got to worry about none of that, because as long as it's the truth, it's the truth. In the last days, the Most High of peace shall dwell in the cities, and the inhabitants thereof, of the cities, shall be numbered. And in the seventh numbering of the people, and we know about the numbering, we've read from 2nd Esdras, and I'm going to show you a little bit of 2nd Esdras too. We know that there is a numbering. The Most High tells us that there has been a numbering. In the seventh numbering of the people, their eyes shall be opened. In the seventh numbering. Now, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the seventh numbering is the last numbering. What are you going to guess? Their eyes shall be opened, and the glory of their inheritance shine forth before them. What's he talking about, right? Because he ain't talking about Messiah. This is Paul. Messiah done came and he's dead at this point in this book. He's already died and risen and went back to the Father. He's not talking about you realizing that you need to follow the Messiah and do what the Messiah would do. He's not talking about that. He's saying their inheritance shall shine forth before them. The nations shall come up to worship Not to come up and lift your hands in the air and to praise. To bow yourself, to obey the Most High. Come to the mountain because he says that's what you ought to do. So when you come to the mountain because he says that's what you ought to do, that's the worship. That's the obedience. Just like with a lot of words, the world has a misunderstanding of what words mean nowadays. They think love is what you say, not what you do. They think that what you do ain't got much to do with whether or not if you love someone. Worship means obedience. Today, the believers think worship is when you raise your hands in the church and maybe you get drunk or slain in the spirit, do a little dance, praise, sing some songs. That's praise. That's praising him, esteeming him with your lips. But the worship it's the same as love. It only consists of actions. That's what he's talking about. That's what Paul's talking about. So far, whether or not this was made by someone other than Paul, whether or not this was actually in the book of Acts, we already find what we've read so far is lined up perfectly with what the Most High has been telling us, with what the message has been telling us this whole time. The nation shall come up to worship on the mount that testifieth of the patience and long suffering of a servant of Yahuwah. A servant of Yahuwah travels to that mountain 3 times a year. They go in and go out. And you're going to see here in just a minute why we ain't been doing that, but why we now must turn and do that. And that's your deliverance. And I'm going to prove it to you with the Most High's word. He's going to tell you out of his own mouth, and you can take it up with him. Good luck. If look, what Paul just said there in the last of verse 10, what he just said, he just told you you just got it from the horse's mouth, that if you don't come to the mountain that testifieth of the long patience and long suffering, you ain't a servant. You're not. It's not. What it testifies is you thought it was a joke, and you weren't willing to come off of your couch and come home to that mountain. You weren't. Now watch. And in the latter days, new tidings of the gospel. What's the gospel? What he was just talking about. What the Messiah showed us. He went to that mountain that testifieth of the patience and the long suffering of a servant of the Most High. He came here to serve. He said, only the Father's will, not mine. Did he not? Yes. So that's the gospel. So in the latter days, new tidings of the gospel. That means that if we hadn't got to that time that those new tidings would come out, guess what? You wouldn't have known these new tidings. It don't matter who you think you are. I don't care what kind of Bible scholar you are. The tidings came out when they came out, and there's nothing you or I can do about it. They shall issue forth out of Yerushalayim. And just to be clear up front with anybody who might not know this, there was no J back then. When Paul wrote this, whoever wrote this, they weren't saying Jerusalem. They were saying Yerushalayim. Just a reminder. So in the latter days, new tidings that all of mankind had never heard before will issue forth of the gospel, shall issue forth out of Yerushalayim, and the hearts of the people shall rejoice, like I've been trying to get you to do, like I've been doing, like you've witnessed me doing. And behold, fountains shall be opened. Any idea what fountains he's talking about? How about the fountains the Most High talks about, that he says trickles forth from the throne? Those fountains of the living water in Revelations, the stream and the highway that leads back with the tree of life. That's what he's talking about. Those fountains shall be opened. That's the word in this, those new tidings in this word. And there shall be no more plague. It's the same as the curse. There shall be no more plague. Any idea what he's talking about? See, he ain't talking about you accepting Messiah. This is Paul after Messiah. This is the last chapter of Acts. And they took it out for a reason. They took it out for what you're reading and what I'm about to show you in verse 12. That's why they took it out. The plague is that the land is in confusion, and don't take my word for it. Let me show you how the Most High's word tells you that. He, out of his mouth, he tells you. That's the plague. There shall be no more plague. We won't be separated from the Most High. We'll be dwelling in his midst. In those days, there shall be wars and rumors of wars. Well, that kind of checks the box for now, don't it? And a king shall rise up, and his sword, not literal sword, his sword, what he's speaking, the word he's speaking, the Most High's word that he's speaking, shall be for the healing of the nations. Just like the tree of life is for the healing of the nations. Just like that truth that's been for so long without fruit that we're going to see in 2nd Esdras about coming in and coming out. Just like that. That's the sword. That's the healing. Okay? And his peacemaking shall abide, and the glory of his kingdom a wonder among princes. Now, I'm asking you an honest question. Who do you think he's talking about here? He's not talking about the Messiah, is he? He's clearly not talking about the Messiah. He's talking about a king in the end times that would rise up, that's going to be speaking the truth of Abba's word. I don't know if you hear that. These F-16s fly over me all day up here. I mean, and here lately, they've been, the last few days since Russia got to Cuba, it's been like every minute one flies back over top me. And C-17s and the A-10 Warthogs, they never stop flying over top of my head. But look, listen, hear me out. Who is this king that he's talking about? It's something I'm asking you, honestly. Chew on that. Think about it for a second. Now watch, this is 2nd Esdras, and I understand for those of you, my subs that's been around, and you've seen me do this a couple times, and you're thinking, oh gosh, man, he's already did this. How many times are you going to do this, David? If you're asking that, I understand, but this is what we have to do, because obviously the message hasn't been heard. It's not being accepted. And there's more to it. Every time I read it, I find more that I can bring to you and say, look, see what this is saying? This ain't no joke. Look, this, like I said, this is in my video low. If you go watch it, I put it on there for you so you can see all this. It's not that long. It's like 4 minutes long. And you can mute my beat. You don't have to listen to my music. Just read. I put the words on there. You've seen it. It said pause and read. Go pause and read every slide in this video. It's only 4 minutes long. And it's just different sections of 2nd Esdras. But I'm going to read some of it here to you right now so you can see what I'm talking about. This is chapter 5 in 2nd Esdras. Says, now concerning the signs, behold, and above it says signs of the end. Behold, the days are coming when those who dwell on the earth shall be seized with great terror, and the way of truth shall be hidden. And the land shall be barren of faith. The land shall be barren of faith. That mountain that testifieth of the patient and the long suffering. That's what he's talking about. Because look, this is talking about the end times. So, okay, whether you believe we're in the end times or not, is the end times going to know about Jesus? Are they going to know about the Messiah? So that's not the truth, the way of truth that'll be hidden. Accepting whatever, however you accept the Messiah, whatever you say. Everybody's talking about that down there. There's billions of Christians that are saying, have you accepted Jesus into your heart as your Lord and Savior, personal Lord and Savior? They're all talking about that. That's not what's been hidden. the way of truth, the mountain, which is that's what the Messiah came to show. That's that way that the Messiah showed us. He showed us the way we ought to go, what we ought to do, and that it's the Most High's desire, and that's 3 times per year, and we love every second of it, and we weep over its humiliation, our home. That's why right after that he said, when he said the way of the truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. There ain't been nobody at the mountain looking up there to see the Most High. And unrighteousness shall be increased beyond what you yourself see. And these guys are in Babylon. Second Esdras and his buddies, they are taken captive. When he wrote this and seen these visions, he was a captive in the land of Babylon. And unrighteousness shall be increased beyond what you yourself see, and beyond what you heard of formerly. And the land which you now see ruling shall be waste and untrodden. I've proven what that is. We know that that's when he calls the land of Babel the land of Nimrod. It's the original land of Babel, and that is in Montreal, Canada. Sounds funny, doesn't it? Well, I got the proof. If you want to come see, I can prove to you that that's where it is. It's up to you. So he says that land which you now see, where they were, that was ruling, that had them captive, shall be waste and untrodden, and it is. It's called the Louis Babel Ecological Reserve. Go look it up. And it matches up with all the ancient maps of Babylon. And to cherry it off for you, it's littered with meteorite craters, where meteorites took whatever was a perfect circle out. There's a perfect circle in the land. The Bitter River. Just like the ancient maps of Babylon. Go check it out. It's in Montreal. If you go back to my video, Just a Taste, you'll see it. But it's in plenty of other videos too that I've made. But if the Most High grants that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the 3rd period. So what's he saying? What's he talking about, guys? Well, I'm curious. Like I said the other day, if we had a live stream and I just read that to you, now I'd say, okay, so what's he talking about? What's he mean by the land being in confusion, you guys? After the 3rd period. Well, if you listen to what he's about to say next, you'll understand what he's talking about, and it's going to make so much sense out of so much of the Bible for you. And I ain't even got started. After I read these next mind-blowing, eye-opening words, I ain't even got started. Just keep that in mind. I'm just getting started. The land will be untrodden, waste, and desolate. But if the Most High grants you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the 3rd period. And the sun shall suddenly shine forth at night. That hasn't literally happened, has it yet? That the sun does shine in the middle of the night? No. So do you think that's what's going to happen? You think that the earth is tilted or something, and all of a sudden in the middle of the night, the night's going to shine, and that's what he's talking about? Hold that thought. Put a pin in that. And the moon during the day. Blood shall drip from wood. Is blood going to drip from the wood? And the stone shall utter its voice. You think the stone's going to start talking to you? These are all riddles, my friend. He's letting you know. And I got a personal, up close and personal story and experience about the wood, the blood dripping from the wood, that I can tell you. That's about all this. That's about the message that'll let you know what that's talking about. But we ain't going to get into that right now. If you want to know, I'll tell you. Just come ask me. And the people shall be troubled, and the stars shall fall. And I know that's probably an easy one to sit and think that he's talking about a meteor shower, but he ain't. He's talking about the word coming down to you. That's what he's talking about. And I've had dreams about that. And one shall reign, whom those who dwell on the earth do not expect. So that sounds like that guy we just was reading about in the 29th chapter of Acts. The king, the man that will rise up in the end. And it's someone that so that right here, this guy for sure, whoever he's talking about, for surely ain't the Messiah, because he says it's someone who the earth do not expect. Those who dwell on the earth do not expect. Well, there's a lot of people who dwell on the earth that are expecting the Messiah to reign, isn't there? So that's not who this guy's talking about. We'll see. And the birds shall fly away together. That reminds me of I Pet Goat 2. You should go watch that, because that's the message that I've been sharing you. And it shows the birds fly away together right after that place over there. Chaos happens to it, like October 7th, and that's what's happened. So, and the sea of Sodom shall cast up fish, and that's on there too, on I Pet Goat 2. And one whom the many do not know shall make his voice heard by night. So I'm here to tell you right now before I go any further, but I ain't even got started on this man yet, and the deliverance. Wait till you see. But I'm going to go ahead and let you know that what we read in the 29th chapter of Acts and what we're reading right now, it's the same guy. It's the same person. And he's obviously talking about a person in the end, other than Messiah, that would be speaking words about the way of truth that's been hidden, about the healing of the nations, about returning to that mountain that testify of the patience and the long suffering of the Most High. Don't make any insinuations. Don't think that that's me saying that that's me. I'm just telling you that's what this is telling us, and I'm going to show you a bunch more, but in the Word, in the Bible, so you ain't got no reason to object. This is the Word in the Bible. I'm going to show you where that man's talked about, and you can decide who that is. I don't know myself either. I'll tell you, I get nervous. You know, when you get like when you're about to, like when you got a meeting or something big that you have to go do, and you get the nervous feeling. I don't want to say the word, but you know what I'm talking about, in your stomach, and you got to go to the bathroom. That's what I get when I read about this man. It scares me sometimes. Just saying. Because we've been seeing that this sealed up word wouldn't come out until the latter days. So the fact that I've seen this word proves that we're in the latter days. So it scares me when I get reading about a man in the latter days that would be talking about that word that'd be sealed up. Yes, it does. It's it doesn't worry me, but you know, just like I said, I mean, just when you got a big meeting or a big interview or something like that coming up, you get nervous, don't you? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But you go ahead. You tell me who this guy is that it's talking about. It's not the Messiah. He ain't talking. This is someone that's talking about what the Messiah did. That's what this is talking about. And the sea of... Oh, wait, we just read that part. And look, and the many do not know... One whom the many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all shall hear his voice. There shall be chaos also in many places, and fire shall often break out. That's true. These wildfires break out all the time, don't they? So that matches. And the wild beasts shall roam beyond their haunts. Beyond their haunts, the wild beast. And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt waters shall be found in the sweet. What's he talking about there? And you know, I've proven to you guys, showed you the proof that Lake Kinnereth, Lake Utah used to be salt water. And now it's teeming with life. You can go fishing there. But in the Salt Lake, it's dead. There's dead carcasses everywhere all around it. Anything that touches that water, seagulls, there's dead bodies of seagulls as far as you can see around that lake. I'm not kidding you. I couldn't believe it when I seen it. Any bird that flies to that lake falls over dead. Why, I don't know. But that's how the lower pool used to be. Lake Utah, Lake Kinnereth. But now it's teeming with life. You can go fishing there right now. I'm not lying to you. Well, in 2nd or 3rd Kings, I think it's 2 Kings chapter 3, when after Elisha goes up to be with the Most High, and the guys come to Elisha, and they're complaining about the lake, about the water being dead in the lower pool. And he says, bring me some salt. And he goes, throws a handful of salt in the water. And he says that it was made sweet. It was made back, it brought, it was healed from being dead from that moment until this day. Just throwing that out there. Just more proof, more proof. And go look it up. Go look into it. Go look at Lake Utah's history, and they'll tell you that they know that it used to be dead, and now it ain't. And then go read 2 Kings chapter 3, chapter 2 and 3. And all friends shall conquer one another. Then shall reason hide itself, and wisdom shall withdraw into its chamber. I'll tell you right now, that's a wink wink. You'll be wise to withdraw in your chamber. I promise you that's what he's getting at. And it shall be sought by many, but shall not be found. And this is in the time, this is the latter days. So we're in a time surrounded by Christians who are telling you what you got to do, to be saved. They're saying once saved, always saved. But in reality, it's a time where it's sought, wisdom sought by many, but not found, and unrighteousness and unrestraint shall increase on the earth. And that's what Christianity has caused, unrestraint and unrighteousness, the man of lawlessness. And one country shall ask its neighbor, has righteousness or any who does right passed through you? And it will answer no. Now see, listen to me. All this stuff's going to make sense to you once you realize what this word's been telling you the whole time about the deliverance, about coming home. I used to read this and I didn't have a clue what it was talking about. I always wondered to myself when I read this part, like, what is he talking about? One country shall ask another country, has righteousness or any who does right pass through you? Wink, wink. And the other country will say, no. Now you see what that means, don't you? That nobody's been coming home for the feast days. That's what that's talking about. And at that time, men shall hope, but not obtain. See, they're hoping. They think they're storing their treasures in heaven, but they're not. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. Okay, now we just read, right, where it said that after the 7th numbering, or was it the 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd numbering of the people, the land shall be in confusion. We just seen that, right? So now watch what he says in verse 23. And I said, O sovereign Yahuwah, from every forest of the earth and from all its trees thou hast chosen one vine. And from all the lands of the world thou hast chosen for thyself one region. And like I just said, we just seen the land shall be in confusion. We just seen that. And from all the flowers of the world thou hast chosen for thyself one lily. And hopefully someday soon I'm going to do a video, a more in-depth video of sago lilies. And this is why, because it's important, and it's the proof. It's the proof of what that is what the Most High is talking about when he's talking about lily, the lily of whatever, the rose of Sharon, the lily here that's on the mountains. He's talking about them sago lilies, and that's how the Mormons, when they came here, that's how they survived. If it wouldn't have been for the sago lily, they would have died. Look into it. It's rich in things to think about and to know, to understand what you can do with it, how that plant is medicinal and its nutritional value, everything. It's huge, just in case, because you never know. And they're prominent out here. So and from all the depths of the sea thou hast filled for thyself one river. And from all the cities that have been built thou hast consecrated Zion for thyself. And from all the birds that have been created thou hast named for thyself one dove. And from all the flocks that have been made thou hast provided for thyself one sheep. And from all the multitude, of all the multitude of peoples thou hast gotten for thyself one people, in whom thou hast loved, and hast given the law which is approved. By all. And now, O Yahuwah, why thou hast given over the one to the many, and dishonored the one root beyond the others, and scattered thy only one among the many. And those who oppose thy promises have trodden down those who believe thy covenants. Now, later on here in 2nd Esdras, it says, and I answered and said, what will be the dividing of the times? Or when will be the end of the first age and the beginning of the age that follows? He said to me, from Abraham to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau. For Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. For Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. For the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand, seek for nothing else, Ezra. What's he talking about? How could Esau be the end of the age and Jacob be the beginning? They were born at the same time. Basically, they were twins. It ends at your heel, my friend. He's winking at you. He's saying, Jacob fought for his inheritance. Esau didn't care about his. You got to come to your inheritance. Okay, now, this is huge right here. Now listen. He answered and said to me, rise to your feet, and you will hear a full resounding voice. And if the place where you are standing is greatly shaken, while the voice is speaking, do not be terrified, because the word concerns the end, and the foundations of the earth will understand that the speech concerns them. Well, that matches up with the message, doesn't it? That lets us know that he must be talking about the same thing we've been talking about and discovering, that the everlasting foundations of the earth, that they changed the boundaries. Now watch. They will tremble and be shaken, for they know that their end must be changed. That's that great shaking that hasn't been since the earth began. Everyone thinks that, oh, that's Israel. This is just America. This is like the new world, the brave new world. There wasn't nobody here when we came here, when Columbus came here, and all that stuff. No, all those lies are being tore down, and the truth of where our home, where's where, and who is coming out. When I heard this, I rose to my feet and listened, and behold, a voice was speaking, and its sound was like the sound of many waters, many truths. And it said, behold, the days are coming, and it shall be that when I draw near to visit the inhabitants of the earth, and when I require from the doers of iniquity the penalty of their iniquity, and when the humiliation of Zion is complete, and when the seal is placed upon the age which is about to pass away, then I will show these signs. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and all shall see it together. That's one sign, just like I've been saying. No one would know this until the latter days. That's one sign to let you know we're in the end, because this word's coming out. And how you know it's the end is the word wouldn't come out until Zion's humiliation was completed. And that means we get to go home now. And we just read just before that Esau he was putting the seal on Esau, that he was the end of the age. Because at this time, the truth of our deliverance, of our inheritance, is shining forth, and the world's rejecting it. So all who rejected in this end, they got that seal of Esau on them, and they're on their way to destruction. Now watch this. We just read 45, Isaiah 45. What was it? The last video and the last couple videos about. And I shall give you the treasures of darkness, hoarded wealth of secret places. So let's just go to the next chapter. Okay, he was just talking about secret places. Okay. Now watch what he says here in 46 of Isaiah. Bel has bowed down, Nebo is stooping. What's that mean? What's that supposed to mean? Well, I'll tell you. The Mount Nebo that they sell you, the counterfeit, is only like 2,400 feet in elevation, I think. It's a knoll. It's like a hill. The Nebo over here in Utah, at the south part of the bowl, and you can see all of the valley from it, is 12,000 feet tall. Nebo is stooping. Their idols were on the beast and on the cattle. What's that mean? The beast, the image of the beast, the kingdom. A beast is a kingdom. That which is carried is burdensome, a burden to the weary. What's that mean? That which is carried. They have stooped, they have bowed down together. They were unable to deliver the burden, but they themselves went into captivity. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. Listen to me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Yasharal, who were born from the belly, who were carried from the womb. Listen, you need to listen up right now. I'm telling you. He's telling you. Even to your old age, I am he. And even to gray hairs, I carry. I have made, and I bear, and I carry and rescue. To whom do you liken me? And compare me and make me similar, that we should be alike. They pour gold out of the bag and weigh silver on the scale. They hire a goldsmith, and he makes it a mighty one. They fall down. They also bow themselves. Okay, just like I was talking this morning. Look, when we read about the city of Babel and the new renewed Jerusalem, we read about the gold and the silver. That's what he's getting at, okay? Image, okay? What I was talking about this morning. that government that you say, that the world is telling me that I'm going to be cursed for talking about, they're anti-Messiah for one. They would kill you if they could for two, for being a Christian, but for being a believer in Messiah, that he's came in the flesh, okay? And you've bowed yourself to those people, to that place. You can't even, you're telling someone who talks them, who knows that the Messiah came in the flesh, you're saying that he's going to be cursed for giving up those who say they are Yahudim. You know what that tells us all, don't it? It lets us know that you fell down and bowed yourself to this image of the beast. They bear it on the shoulder. They're all the believers are bearing it, aren't they? They're saying, we stand with Israel. How dare you? That's God's holy people. They carry it and set it in its place, and it stands. From its place it does not move. Though one cries out to it, it does not answer nor save him from his distress. All that crying you're doing, it ain't going to do you no good. That place is heading for destruction. Remember this and show yourselves men. Turn it back, you transgressors. Turn it back. Remember the former events of old. For I am the mighty one, and there is no one else, the Most High, and there is no one like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from of old, that which has not yet been done, saying, my counsel does stand, and all my delight I do. Calling a bird of prey from the east, the man who executes my counsel from a distant land. Indeed, I have spoken it. I also bring it to pass. I have planned it. I also do it. What's he talking about? Calling a man from the east. Is he talking about Messiah? Did Messiah come from a distant land? He didn't, did he? A bird of prey. He's talking about the end times. He's talking about that same man that the 29th chapter of Acts and 2nd Esdras is talking about, and other places, lots of other places. There would have to be someone that would point this out, that would have the cojones or the insanity, whatever you want to call it, to come looking for this place. Listen to me, you stubborn-hearted. Well, what I've been saying is it's been getting the stiff-necked reception for sure. Who are far from righteousness. I shall bring my righteousness near. It is not far off, and my deliverance, it is not delayed. And I shall give deliverance. Where? In Sion. Well, that matches. That makes me nervous, because that's what I've been talking about. That's the message I've been sharing, that the deliverance only comes in Zion. He's not lying. He didn't just say that I shall give deliverance in Sion, but then other times he's going to tell you, nah, man, I guess I really ain't going to give it all in Sion. You know, just accept Jesus into your heart, and wherever you are, I'll come pick you up. I'll come Uber you. You ain't got to come to Zion. No. All the words telling you that you got to come to Zion. Every bit of it. My esteem to Yasharal. Now, 47 is going to be the part that confirms everything that I've been talking about. Come down and sit in the dust, O maiden, daughter of Babel. Who could he be talking about, guys? Sit on the ground without a throne, O daughter of the Kasdim, of the Chaldeans, the Rothschilds. For no more do they call you tender and delicate. Now that's happening, huh? Take the millstones and grind flour. Now see, now we know for sure what he's talking about there. All them times growing up, all my life, whenever I read that, didn't have a clue. Hurt my brain just thinking about what he could possibly be meaning. Now I know for a fact what he means. Now see, all this word makes sense. It's why the Messiah, like I said earlier, it's why the Messiah said, there'll be two at the millstone, one taken, one left. He's telling you right now, instead of you threshing, like instead of being the threshing floor, the throne, you pretending to be the throne, the place where I place my name. To know, take the millstone and grind flour. That's what you can do. That's what he's telling the maiden daughter of Babel. Remove your veil, lift up the skirt, uncover the leg, pass through the rivers. Any idea what he's talking about? October 7th is precisely what he's talking about. And every day since then, that's what he's talking about. Let your nakedness be uncovered. See? Now, you should know why it says the land would be in confusion. You should know who the city of Babel is. You should know now that I ain't been BSing you. Let your shame also be exposed. I take vengeance and meet no man. Our Redeemer, Yahuwah of hosts, is his name. The set apart one of Yasharal. Sit silent and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For no more do they call you mistress of reigns. I was wroth with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and gave them into your hand. Okay, he's talking about, is he not talking about the daughter of Babel? He just told us, right? He said, I gave my inheritance into your hand. Hello, McFly. Anybody in there? Who you think he's talking about? And you showed them no compassion. You made your yoke very heavy on the elderly. Now, every time I always read that, I couldn't understand what that could be. Why would the yoke be heavy on the elderly? It's so easy to figure this out. Once the Lamb starts opening these scrolls for you, it makes perfect sense. How could he make the yoke hard on the elderly? If all you got to do, right, is accept Jesus into your heart. Well, the elderly can do that just like the young can. They can speak still. No, how it's heavy on the elderly is because it's going to be hard for someone pushing a walker with tennis balls on the front to get home, especially when they're on the other side of the map. That's how that is. And you said, I am mistress forever, so that you did not take these matters to heart and did not remember the latter end of them, the latter end, that we end up coming home. Even the enemy had to know that, but they don't care. He don't care about that. He only cares about destroying not a few nations. He's been let out the cage. And now hear this, you who are given to pleasures, who dwells complacently, who says in your heart, I am, and there is none but me. I do not sit as a widow, nor do I know the loss of children. Okay, who's saying that in the end times? Just curious. Should I wait? Should I wait for anybody to put a comment in the comment section telling me, yep, you're right. This is talking about Israel. I ain't going to hold my breath because that would be wildly naive on my part. Both of these come to you suddenly in one day, October 7th. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon you in completeness because of your many witchcrafts and your numerous great potent spells. That flag of theirs, their logo, says it all, doesn't it? And you have trusted in your evil, and you have said, no one sees me. No one knows that I'm Babel. They think that I'm the place. Your wisdom and your knowledge have led you astray, and you have said in your heart, I am, and there is none but me. Guilty as charged. Throw away the key and put them under the jail. Do you agree? Would you not agree that that's what ought to be done? But evil shall come upon you, you not knowing from where it arises, and trouble fall upon you, you being unable to put it off, and ruin come upon you suddenly, which you know not. Stand now with your potent spells and many witchcrafts in which you have labored from your youth. Wink, wink, the Kabbalah. If so be you are able to profit, if so be you find strength, you are exhausted by your many counsels, let your astrologers, the stargazers, and those who prognosticate by the new moon stand up and save you from what is coming upon you. See, they shall be as stubble, fire shall burn them. They do not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There is not a coal to be warmed by, nor a fire to set before it. So they shall be to you with whom you have labored, your merchants from your youth. See? All you who are saying, I stand with Israel, that's you. They shall wander, each one his own way. There's none to save you. Don't matter who you accepted. If you ain't accepted the way of truth that the Messiah lived by and showed us, the example he showed us, and come home, deuces to you.